Welcome to the True Wealth Investors Real Estate Podcast. Creative investing strategies to help you build true wealth. I'm your host, Chad Harris. All right, good to see everybody. Thanks for joining me today. As always, I appreciate you listening. And if you are not subscribed already, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, leave us a rating, a review, leave a comment. I'd be glad to answer any questions. Love to hear from everybody, and that would help me out, know what information is benefiting you, as well as help other people find out about us. So always appreciate that. Today we are talking about and an example of how the meeting should run when you meet with a private lender. And I talk to far too many people who think they have somehow tried to raise private money because they have talked to a couple people, they've met with a couple potential lenders, and the lenders did not lend money. And usually the conclusion from those terrible meetings are that I don't know the right people. Private money is too hard to raise. And the reality is that I see people doing everything all wrong. And we know if we're doing it incorrectly, obviously the results that we get back are going to be poor, right? If we aren't putting effort into it and we aren't doing it in the right way, then the result we get back is terrible. And you see that as well on social media. You see it in RIA meetings, everything done incorrectly. I don't know how many times I've seen somebody at a RIA meeting and they come in and they say, I have this deal. I need to borrow 50,000. Who is willing to lend me 50,000? Now, just in that simple little presentation, they didn't give any of the important information for somebody to lend to them. The focus was just on them, right? There was no benefits given for the lender. Everything was done wrong. And externally watching that, then I tend to think little of that person. If we do things wrong, then the way we are viewed by others, it goes down, right? We're going to get negative results. And so I wanted to share with you a meeting that I had with one of my lenders this week, how it went, and we can look at kind of the parts of the meeting and why it was handled that way and what the end result was. So I think that'll be beneficial for you just to get a glimpse into what the meeting should look like. All right. So I met my lender for lunch. He's done a few loans with us already, and we were there about 2 hours visiting and talking. So it doesn't have to be that long, but whether your meeting is 30 minutes or 2 hours, the progression of the meeting should work pretty much the way this meeting went. Okay. So the first part of the meeting and the bulk of the meeting was personal. We were talking about kids and grandkids and what activities everybody was in and where people lived and what trips people had gone on and just catching up and getting to know each other, right? That's really the most important part of the meeting because when we get to know our lenders, then, well, one, we know each other better. We tend to trust people that we know, right? Each of us then knows that we are authentic and can trust the words that we say. As well, because we know each other, then when we transition to the next part of the meeting, then we'll get better information, right? So, first part of the meeting is getting to know each other personally. Second part of the meeting is transitioning to what is that potential lender looking for investment wise. right? We talked about his family life, we talked about his work history and business, and then we transitioned to what types of investments does he like? What types of investments is he looking for currently? And so if we didn't have the rapport and didn't trust each other, then it would be very hard to get accurate information because people don't want to divulge that information unless it's somebody they trust, right? So we talked about that, got more information about what he was looking for in his current investments, um, and then talked about that, gave a little bit of an update. Y- for me, I started to give an update on what our business was doing and what kind of investments we plan to offer in the near future. We didn't have I didn't have any exact deals to present him at that moment, even though we have plenty of paid off properties that we could refinance. We didn't have any deals coming up to our closing. And so we talked about potential deals, right? You can raise money two ways, either for the deal you are preparing to close on, or you can raise money for future deals. And so that's what I did. And he said he was interested. I told him the deals I was looking for in the near future. It's a very specific kind of deal where the amount of capital I'm going to need is 30 to 50,000 because I'm not going to do a rehab. So the capital is less. The structure of the deal is a little different. We can go into that another time, but um, it's more the purpose of the deal is more on the financing. So I'll be offering financing, sell the deals on terms, and if anybody's familiar with work for equity model, then the buyer can build equity in the house by doing the work on the house. So I was explaining that that's my target deal in the next 6 months. And there's a bunch of reasons for that. But so with that target deal, I asked if that amount would appeal to him. He said no, he preferred larger amounts. And so we talked through how would that how could we structure the deal so that he could invest his larger amount, right? And we left pretty much at the end of that. And so we have a ballpark amount of money that he wants to lend. We know we agreed to the terms. And so now I go out and find the deal and I know that those deals are funded. Okay. So the key takeaways from this were it was completely personal, right? I bet three-fourths of the discussion was personal and very little, one-fourth of the discussion was actually about business. And that was at the end of the meeting. Okay. So there was no pressure. It was really laid back and relaxed. We laughed. We told stories. Um, and that's the ideal, I can't think of the right word, the ideal setting, right, for the lender meeting. It should be relaxed. It should be conversational. There's no pressure. The last thing we want to do is start acting rigid, like we're making some formal sales pitch and then get defensive when they ask questions. And that's when it all falls apart. It needs to be casual, relaxed, conversational. We need to have confidence when we're talking about our business and presenting the opportunity, but there shouldn't be urgency either, because we know when we're presenting the opportunity that someone will lend on this deal. If this lender doesn't recognize it, the next lender will, right? So conversational and relaxed. In the end, that lender at the end of that meeting, and this is key, that lender knows that I understand him better and I am setting up investments to fit his needs, right? Now, if I have an investment and I structure it to fit exactly what he's looking for, what are the odds he's going to lend us that money? Very good, right? So that is, I wanted to, number one, just lay out the structure of a lender meeting with you. But two, it's really, so many people get it wrong, just the atmosphere of what that meeting is like and how the interaction takes place. And because they get that wrong, then they start to fear and get nervous for the meeting. And how will I make the pitch? And those first few times, it's a little tricky until you get down your process and how it works. But after you get it figured out, it should be relaxed and casual and the easiest meeting you'll ever have. And actually, the more relaxed, casual, and confident you are, the more money you will raise. All right. So I hope that helps everybody. If you would like help with this, if you recognize that if you had access to private money, even a small amount of private money, $250,000, recognize that your business would grow much faster with that. Then we have a private money accelerator starting here soon. In that accelerator, in small groups, we're going to work through my course on how to raise private money and go through every step. So each week we meet 1 hour during the week together in a small group, and then there are assignments for that week. So you would be going out, talking to potential lenders, preparing for the meeting, doing all the steps to get ready to raise the money. And then you come back the next week and you get to get feedback from me and the other members of the group as to, well, they said this, I wasn't quite sure how to answer that, or here's the response I got, or how should I structure the deal based on this is what their desire is. All of those questions. If you want to help walking through the process, that is the best way to understand how to raise private money. Not only, and this is really important, not only understand how to raise money, but to have that right perspective. Okay. If you have the perspective of someone who has raised millions of dollars and you walk into a meeting, yes, you are going to go in relaxed and confident and you're going to raise the money. You're going to instill confidence in your lender. If you go in with the perspective of someone who's never raised money before and you're not sure if it'll work and you're not quite sure why they would even lend you money, that deal is not going to happen and your meeting's not going to go well. So if you're ready to raise private money, join us in the Private Money Accelerator. And most people come out of that 6 weeks with the deal funded. You will be glad you did, and it will be a powerful experience for you. All right. If that helps you, or if you're interested, reach out to me, chad@truewealthinvestors.com. Otherwise, I will see you right back here next week. And as always, keep building your dream life one door at a time. We are adding new episodes every week, so make sure and subscribe and check out all of our content at truewealthinvestors.com.